Hello, dear friends. You can run for a long time, but sooner or later your destiny will reach you. Opinion piece. Return to Eden. Time is over. Elegant transition. This is accelerating. The original project. Another era is coming. Nothing will be hidden. Gap between polarities. It is the end of suffering. People claim their destiny. No one can stop what is coming. Now the hard disclosure is coming. Star Trek and Star Wars were soft disclosure. The Duke of Luxembourg announces his abdication. A second Trump term would be different from the first. Let's start. The symbol of the return to Eden has been widely used in literature and art to express the human aspiration to achieve salvation and the spiritual fulfillment. It represents the desire to recover the condition of innocence and perfection. It is the longing to return to a state of grace, purity, and communion with the divine, and the hope of recovering the lost paradise and a life in harmony with nature. The earth was created to be an Eden, a place where all life can evolve to its full potential. We are rapidly moving from the Draconian law to universal law. Everything is expanding and accelerating. Action reaction time regarding karma is becoming almost instantaneous. We are moving from a planet ruled by draconian predators to aligning with the original intent, according to James Gilliland. The original intent was hijacked by lesser forces that created a different trajectory, and the timelines were hijacked by entities that care nothing about humanity and the earth. Just as there are dark forces, there are also brighter forces, inhabitants of other very advanced worlds, and some of them are our ancient ancestors from the inner earth and other worlds. The human component is known as the Secret Space Fleet, or White Hats. We are returning to the original intention, the universal law, which its simplest form its which in its simplest form is peace, brotherhood, freedom, and prosperity for all. All predatory programs are coming to an end. Those who imposed them are in a downward spiral. All attempts to make a graceful transition have been ignored, and all agreements previously reached has been breached. Time and delay are over now. Explosions. The sun is playing a major role in this with massive explosions of consciousness and energy, coronal mass ejections, and X-class flares. This links back to the great central sun, to which we are connected as the ultimate source. There is a major planetary alignment of 6 planets that add to the solar storms. Everything descends through the vibratory continuum from consciousness to light, and then to energy becoming mass. This is how awakening and planetary healing or liberation is done. Most only see the chaos and changes in the physical world, without realizing the bigger picture. What lies behind this event is an unstoppable force beyond all comprehension. The old draconian empire is collapsing, and all its followers will fall with it. This is a multidimensional operation with the Great Spirit at the top, descending through the ascended masters, the advanced beings of other worlds, the benevolent people of the inner earth, and the Space Force and the White Hat. Humankind will rise and reclaim its destiny, and decide to live according to universal law in harmony with each other and with nature. We have the divine right to live an abundant, loving, joyful, and healthy life. Anything that interferes with that will suffer the consequences. Whatever you do to others, they will do to you. Only now it will be accelerated and expanded. Revelation. All will be revealed, and no stone will be left unturned. Injustices will be shouted from the rooftops, as prophesied. The earth ascends, the frequency increases, and the human resonance is off scale. Now is the time to be honest with ourselves. We are functioning under universal law, or we are serving evil. There are some brave souls with impeccable integrity who call it out. It's time to support them. In the end, when you think there is no more hope, the beast consumes itself. We join the great human family throughout the galaxy, the star nations, followed by restoration, healing, and 1,000 years of peace. That is our unstoppable destiny. Each individual has to play their part and take personal responsibility for it to happen. Just remember that every action has a reaction. This is accelerating and expanding. Some call it karma. Nothing will be hidden. We have the option to take the upward spiral and live an abundant life in harmony with each other and with nature, or take the downward spiral into self service at the expense of humanity and nature. The downward spiral ends in a collapse that affects everyone. Acceleration. This is accelerating. The gap between polarities is widening. There are no more gray areas. Choose wisely in thought, action, and deed. It will affect you tomorrow. There will always be ungodly people who think they can stop this or that they are immune. They will not see what is coming and they will fall harder. That has been their decision. You can't stop the sun or hide from their karma from your karma. It's time to direct all energy towards the awakening and healing of humanity and the earth. Buckle up. Fasten your seatbelts. It will get going real quick. No one can stop what is coming. There is now an armada of ships here, and more will come. They are the benevolent forces that are here to bring about a new rebirth. It is the end of suffering, as Buddha said. We will soon realize that Star Trek and Star Wars were soft spoken documentaries. Now the hush reveal is coming for all to see. Concealment and controlled narrative have failed. Those involved will be seen for who or what they are. Now it is the turn of the Great Spirit. It is a process called the Great Revelation. Emotions. Do you have anxiety attacks? It is a global phenomenon due to uncertainty. When you keep an open mind, you run the risk of substituting one dogma for another. In Japan, specialized companies called night movers help people disappear and live anonymously off the grid. And there is a very great wave of sadness that runs through humanity at this moment. According to Kerry Kay, transform melancholy into its highest expression so that your inner consciousness becomes your greatest teacher, healer, and liberator. Goals. Russia announced its goal for 2030. They include, in quotes, supporting traditional moral and spiritual values, making Russia the fourth largest economy in the world, increasing population, becoming a high-tech superpower, creating a comfortable and safe living environment, promote environmental well-being, etc. According to the Storm Rider, an economic collapse would have to happen, and the Third World Party would be just a necessary scare to wake people up. In his opinion, The dark side only pretends it wants war, but it doesn't. The money is running out in a black swan event, and now they don't have the resources to pay the governments. That's why Donald Trump said he expects a dark side economic collapse to occur. Elon Musk also announces the upcoming restructuring of the financial system. These events are not sudden, but develop over years. Everything will be exposed after the collapse. Trust the plan to save the world. A second Trump term would be different from the first. Trump's, Trump's first term was largely defined by the political barriers he ran into, the institutional norms, and the lawmakers and advisors he lashed out at. Now each of them is diminished or remodeled for his benefit. His political goals, which in the past seemed aspirational at best and mere fantasies at worst, are now neither insignificant nor hypothetical. Curious, an ancient lost world discovered under the ice of Antarctica. Akira Kurosawa's The Seventh Samurai has become one of the fundamental films for understanding current cinema. Griegos Teruel is the coldest village in Spain during the summer months. It is located in the Sierra de Albarracín and its altitude is 1,600 meters. Economy. Since January 1st, 2000, gold has risen 687%. The G7 has $50 billion of frozen Russian capital. Europe could not compete with China in battery production. European tariffs against Chinese electric vehicles hurt both parties. There is no way for the financial system to survive because of unpayable debt, according to Bill Holder. Middle East. Iran announces its upcoming launch of an offshore rail. Another era is approaching. The petrodollar is coming to an end after Saudi Arabia withdraws. The Houthis launch another attack against the aircraft carrier Dwight Eisenhower. It will be replaced by the aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt. Prophecies. According to the interpretation of an ancient prophecy from the Old Testament book of Habakkuk, if Israel attacks Lebanon, it would be a failure for them. A UN leader warns that a miscalculation could trigger catastrophe beyond imagination, according to Sochafal. Grand Duke Henry of Luxembourg unexpectedly announces the beginning of his abdication process. A massive power outage left Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, and Montenegro without internet or electricity on June 21st after a 400 kilowatt line exploded. Americas. The Inti Raymi begins the summer in Quito with music, dances, food, and ancestral beings. AMLO talks about his political future. In quotes, I don't want to be a moral leader. Milei receives a distinction in Germany and boasts of achievements in Argentina. Intense rains in Chile leave more than 800 people isolated and 1,700 houses damaged. Some Puerto Ricans demand a referendum from the UN to become part of Spain again, according to Rafa Pal. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.